for joining the webinar today. I'm Jeffrey Heilbrunn, one of the product owners here at Pepperjam. Today we are going to be talking about a couple of new features we've built into Optimizer, the Top 100 Gap Analysis Report, and the Saved Filter preset settings. So before we start, just a few reminders. The training is being recorded, and we are going to be posting this to our resource center later on. And there is going to be a question and answer session at the end of the webinar. So everyone's been muted at this time. If you do have any questions, please type them into the question box, and I'll be happy to address them then. Okay, with that out of the way, let's go ahead and get started. First, the Top 100 Gap Analysis Report. The Top 100 Gap Analysis Report will show you the top 100 performing publishers on the Pepperjam network over the past 30 days and your program's relationship status with them all, showing you where you have gaps in relationships, hence the name. This report is going to highlight missed potential opportunities and potential missed revenue that they could be driving for you if these publishers were in your program. Before, this report could only be run manually by someone internally at Pepperjam, but that's no longer the case. The report's now available to everyone within Optimizer. It's ready whenever you want it, with up-to-date data driven by Pepperjam's genome recommendation engine. And plus, this data is updated nightly, so you always have an accurate list of the top performers at your fingertips. We've made accessing this report super simple. If you've been in Optimizer recently, you may have noticed a new skinny grayish blue bar at the top of the publisher's search page. Within that bar is a presets dropdown, and within that dropdown is the Top 100 Gap Analysis Report. All you need to do is select it from the dropdown. Optimizer will set and apply filter and sort states automatically to give you the Top 100 Gap Analysis Report. Once the results load, you can either go through on screen and evaluate the gaps that you see, or another handy feature that we have added is the ability to export these results to CSV. All of the columns that you see on screen are now exportable. And that's not limited to the gap analysis report. You can actually export the first 150 results of any search you run in Optimizer now. So you may have noticed that the label of that report dropdown says presets, and yes, there is more to this than just the gap analysis. You can now save frequently used filter and sort states. So if you are only looking for publishers in specific verticals, categories, states, countries, what have you, you can save those frequently used states and load them whenever you want. Just set the filters and sorting the way you want them and click Save Filters. Give your preset a name that's meaningful to you so that you can come back to it later. And at that point, you then have a choice. Do you want to create this preset for just yourself, or if you have multiple users for your program, do you want to create it for anybody? That's what the Me Only and this Advertiser Only checkboxes are for, respectively. Once everything's to your liking, click Save Preset, and then the next time you visit the page, the preset will be there in the dropdown. Just like with the gap analysis, you choose it from the dropdown, and voila, you have your report. Now let's say you forgot to set a filter in an existing preset or wanted to rename it. It's easy to change your filters. Just select your existing filter from the dropdown that you want to change, make your changes, and then click Save Filters. At this point, you're going to want to make sure that the Create New Preset checkbox is unchecked. This will overwrite the currently selected preset settings. Conversely, if you just wanted to create a different copy of the existing filter, you wanted a variant of it, and you didn't want to overwrite it, you would just want to make sure that that checkbox is checked. Now, let's say you wanted to delete a custom saved preset. Similar to before, just select it from the dropdown, click the Details button, click the Delete button, and confirm. And after that, there is no more preset. It's gone. Just note that only presets that you saved can be edited and deleted. So like a global preset such as the Top 100 Gap Analysis Report, that's something that you wouldn't be able to delete. At this point, I'm going to do a quick live demo so that you can see this in action. So over here on screen, you should be able to see Optimizer. This is the publisher search page, as I said. Now, you see the bluish-gray bar up here at the top. This is the area that I was talking about earlier. All I'm going to do is I'm going to select the top 100 gap analysis report from the preset list. Optimizer does the rest of the work for you. Okay. And just like that, we have a list of the top 100 publishers on the network. If I wanted to export this and take a look at it later on, all I need to do is click this Export CSV button right here. And now at that point, we have a list of the publishers that were in the report and all the data that was available on that page. So now let's say I wanted to add my own flair to this report here. All I would do is set the filters to the way I wanted to see them. So let's say I liked the top 100 gap analysis report, but I only wanted to get publishers that were in the United States. Just make the selections you want and click Save Filters. And at that point, you just give it a name. So top 100 gap analysis USA. And as I said earlier, you need to make a decision. Do you want this to be just for you? Or if you have other users who access your account, do you want it to be for anyone who accesses your account? I'm going to make this just for me right now. And save preset. So now, if I were to refresh this page, I would see in the dropdown the saved filter that I just made right there. So let's say I wanted to get really granular and I only wanted to include people that were in Florida. Now at this point I can go ahead, and because it's already selected, I can click Save Filters. And if I want to save a copy of this, I would make sure that this checkbox here is checked. Otherwise, if I wanted to update the existing one, I would uncheck it and click Save Preset. And there we are. And now let's say I don't have use for this filter anymore. I'm going to go ahead and try to delete it. So I click Details once selected from the drop-down, click Delete. It's going to ask me if I'm sure. Yes, I am sure. And it's gone. Simple as that. Alrighty, so at this point, I am going to open it up to questions. If you have any questions, go ahead and type them into the chat box, and I will do my best to answer. So the first question is, what time frame are the top 100 from? So the top 100 are from the past 30 days. It's a rolling 30 days. And how frequently are they refreshed? They are refreshed nightly based on data from the Pepperjam network. And the next question, is there contact information available when you export the CSV? So at this time, let me see here. Let me bring up the file. So at this point, no, it doesn't look like we have that in there. But if you did want to see the contact information for that publisher, you could search for them specifically after you've identified them and just click the information details button. Okay, it looks like there are no more questions. So as I said, if you missed anything, don't worry too much about it. We are going to be posting this to our Knowledge Center later on in the day. I hope you have a great rest of your afternoon and week, and I hope to talk to you all soon.